Things have slowed down considerably for Texas Tech when it comes to roster addition. But in today's video, we'll discuss what the current roster looks like, as well as why the Red Raiders are still in on one of the marquee players currently out there in the NBA draft process, as well as give an update to one of their portal targets. Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's RC Maxfield here for the Back to 12 podcast. Appreciate y'all tuning in. And just a programming note, here in the summertime, when things start to slow down a little bit, we'll go from everyday videos to probably about 3 times a week. Nothing will change in terms of the price. It's 100% free. And once football season starts around the, we'll say August 1st range, you betcha we'll be back for 5 times, if not more than that, a week, previewing Texas Tech football on the gridiron. And of course, we'll be talking about Texas Tech men's basketball as well. So if you want 100% free content surrounding your Red Raiders all year long, this is the place for you. All you got to do is simply like the video and hit that subscribe button. All right, enough with the promo. Let's kind of look at where Texas Tech is at right now with the roster. Okay, we've seen this graphic that I put together. Some people have roasted it because I say that Luke Bamboye may be the starting center for Texas Tech. Those people, well, I don't know if they know ball right now. Anyway, we look at what the current Texas Tech roster looks like. Obviously, Christian Anderson, JT Toppin returning is pivotal for the Red Raiders. You go out and add a guy like Lawan Watts, one of the marquee wings in this portal cycle. He will be your projected starting 3 right now. You go out and get your Fetty replacement and Luke Bamboye, a guy that personally right now in terms of their skill set, I think Luke Bamboye is actually better than Fetty in terms of what you need from that 5 spot in a Grant McCaslin system. Then you go out and get a guy like Tyree Bryant. You go out and get a guy like Donovan Atwell. You go out and get a guy like Josiah Mosley. All 3 of those guys will be in the rotation. To what extent, we shall see. But you feel really, really good about guys like Tyree Bryant and Donovan Atwell. More experienced guards, can shoot the lights out. No, by the way, they play defense at a pretty high level as well, 85th percentile or higher over on Synergy. So this is the current lay of the land for Texas Tech. Obviously, things are built around Christian Anderson Jr. and then JT Toppin, right? That is where your team is going to be heavily reliant on in terms of the 2 personnel. You're going to see a lot of pick and roll. You're going to see a lot of spacing. It wouldn't surprise me at all if you see JT play at the 5 as well. And I would expect it, but just maybe not as much as he did last year because they do like Luke Bamboye quite a bit, does the staff. So he could be the starting 5. But these are the guys that you're looking at right now in terms of, okay, they have signed, they are on the roster, and you can expect them as of today be a part of the Texas Tech men's basketball program in 2025-2026. Now, I want to talk about one guy that I saw some people say that Texas Tech was out on him, and then they kind of backtracked a little bit. I'll say this right now. It was never the case that Texas Tech was out on him. I had heard some rumors of people saying, like, they didn't have the money for it. That was never the case. Now, does this player end up at Texas Tech? I don't know. And neither does anybody else for that matter. But to say that they were out because of money or they were just out in general, that was unequivocally false. Okay, that was false. But the player that I'm talking about, and you can see him on your screen right now, excuse me for the technicality there, technical difficulties, I should say, is Ben Henshall. Okay, I saw multiple people say that he was out, Texas Tech was out, I should say, because of money. Again, unequivocally false. Texas Tech is in on Ben Henshall in terms of his recruitment. Now, are they going to land him? I don't know. And like I said earlier, nobody else does either right now. He's going through the NBA draft process. He just went through a workout with the Portland Trail Blazers, and he is a guy that is being heavily recruited by the likes of Florida and Texas Tech. He is making his offseason home. He is originally from Australia. He is making his offseason home this year to go through the NBA draft process in LA, while he is still keeping his options open to going to play college basketball. Florida and Texas Tech are the 2 programs that are most heavily linked to him. Florida, they were going after a guy from USC. They decided to negate that, and they kept their options open. But it sounds like right now for Florida, they are not high. They don't have Henshaw as a high priority. In fact, they are going after Boogie Fland, the Arkansas guard that is also going through the NBA draft process. And it sounds like the Gators, the national champions, are trying to throw a few bags at Boogie Flag, which would help Ben Henshall in terms of Texas Tech side of things. Now, again, nothing is for certain there. Absolutely nothing. But I will say this is a certain when it comes to Ben Henshall. If Texas Tech were to land him, that is the best player you landed in the portal. I mean, or any kind this year that isn't retaining a player. Okay, obviously he's not in the portal. He's a professional. You get what I'm saying, right? But he would be the best player you have added, not from a retention standpoint. So not Christian Anderson and not JT Toppin. Okay, but he would be that best player. He'd be better than Lawan Watts. He'd be better than Tyree Bryant. He'd be more impactful than Donovan Atwell. You get what I'm saying here. He would be your starting two guard. But again, do not let people fool you on the front that, hey, we've been reporting it on Scarlet and Black Insider, Austin Massey, Jacob Harris. They've done a phenomenal job at stating this through and through because we talk to people that know this situation very well. Like, Texas Tech is still in the mix. This is not a money issue. Texas Tech heavily is involved in Ben Henshall's recruitment. Again, does that mean they're going to get him? No. But Texas Tech is definitely in the mix, and they always have been. Okay, there was not a period in time where they were out on him. I mean, shoot, they went out to LA to meet with him. I mentioned that they were in terms of where Ben Henshall is having his offseason home. It's in LA to go through the NBA draft process. Texas Tech, whoever it is, members of the program flew out to LA to meet with him and his representation. Okay, like this was just in the past 10 days. And I've heard these things in the past 10 days that Texas Tech is out on him. That is unequivocally false. They are in the process to potentially land him. Again, doesn't mean that they will, but they're still in the mix. Now, the other one is Divine Yu. I'm not going to try and pronounce his name, but I believe it's, well, you know what? I will try and pronounce his name. Divine Uchakwa is how it was pronounced to me. I pronounced it wrong on a couple videos. Hopefully I got it right there. It sounds like Texas Tech is in the mix there, but it doesn't sound like as much of a lock as it was maybe like a week ago, if that makes sense. The three schools heavily in the mix to land him, the University of Miami guard transfer originally from Sugar Land, Texas, are USC, Michigan State, and Texas Tech. He's more of a rotation guy. We've talked about him and his skill set here on the channel a little bit, but it sounds like right now it's kind of in flux. I don't know exactly where he'll go. Maybe by the time you're listening to this video, when it's Friday, May 9th, maybe he announces where he's going, right? But right now, I'm not sure it's going to be Texas Tech. And in fact, I would probably say it's not going to be. Doesn't mean things can't change. But it doesn't sound like the direction where it was going a week ago in terms of positives for him to be maybe that third primary ball handler for Texas Tech off the bench, right? That's kind of what his role would have been if he did come to Texas Tech. It sounded like he was going to be a Red Raider. Now it's kind of shifted a little bit, and it's not as certain. So we'll see where that goes on that front. But that's your update for today in terms of the Texas Tech men's basketball roster. I know that there was also some people freaking out because they saw Lawan Watts up at Boise State, which I thought was funny, and that started some D5 conversation in terms of, oh, was Lawan transferring? Doesn't sound like it. No, it does not sound like that at all. He just went back up there. He's from that area in terms of the Pacific Northwest and everything like that. So nothing to freak out about there on the Lawan Watts front as it stands. So again, right now, really good place. If you ask me today, again, it's Friday, May 9th at the time that this video is going live on YouTube. I think Texas Tech has a top, at worst, 12 roster as it currently stands right now, and they are not done. They will be adding at least one or two more players to this team. I can promise you that, and they have a war chest in terms of money to go after and do it in terms of adding very impactful players. Most notably, probably a primary ball handler, and they may even add two, maybe another big. We shall see. But if I had to guess right now, Texas Tech is at least going to add two players before the 2025-2026 roster is officially set. But again, Texas Tech still firmly in the mix for Ben Henshall. Divine Yu, kind of shaky at this point. We shall see what happens. But Texas Tech in a really good spot from a roster perspective as it stands right now. All right, that's going to do it for today's video. We'll have more football content here coming up on the channel very, very soon. Also, shout out to Cody Campbell for being alongside Nick Saban for helping lead the charge of NIL and everything like that in the current landscape of college football. Definitely needed, and what better guy to have there than a Red Raider? I can't think of anybody else. But That's going to do it for today's video. If you want 100% free content surrounding your Red Raiders all year long, this is the place for you. All you got to do is simply like the video, hit that subscribe button, and turn on that notification bell. 3 simple steps. It's that easy. I'm RC Maxfield reminding you, as always, to stay safe and Recom Tech.